If you have any question, you can ask. Let's save some time, inshallah. Sheikh Khalid. Yeah, this is Islamically, when a daif comes to you, he has a right to stay. What is the question? When a guest comes to you, do I have a right to reject him? Islamically, they have a right to stay with me for 3 days. Islamically, ثلاثة أيام. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أمر بالضيافة أو الضيافة ثلاثة أيام. This is their right. And even some scholars said they can take their right for these 3 days if you don't give them the right. But as I said, these are all applicable in time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and also applicable up to this moment. But looking at the circumstances and the environment you are living, legally you might not have a right to fight somebody for this right which is given to you by Islam. So a person should understand the nature of the community he is visiting and the life. If he is in a place where Sharia is fully established, then yes, even if the case reaches the court will force him to give you that right for 3 days. But after 3 days, yes, he has a right to stay. Can I tell him to go? Yes. Can tell him, Ma'as salama. And it's not with Adam, but after 3 days, his right is forfeited. Get it? So that's why even some scholars said, even in places where the let's say the house owner tells you cannot accommodate anyone, you can keep your guest for 3 days. That's a right. You can keep him for 3 days. Sheikh Abad ibn Muhsin, this is what he used to give fatwa with. So Islam has given him these 3 days and nobody should deprive him from them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. Okay, this is asking when there is a normal conversation between a person and, two opposite gender, is it also zina? No, unless if they do something that can lead to it. Okay, just talking to a sister or sister talking to a brother, it doesn't mean that they are committing zina. No, it's not like that. But when they engage in things which might lead to it, unnecessary things, okay? These are the doors that they're going to open. After that, then messages and letters and Allahu Alam. But having a normal conversation, if there is a need for that, that's okay. If there is no need, they should stay away from it. No, inshallah, this one is asking about ghayru maskul. I think these are houses which nobody is living in that place. It's not the house that people are living, but they left the house for some of their needs. I have my house, and then I go out, and then somebody comes, he has the need in the house, and get inside. That's 100% wrong. And this one, we will talk about this, inshallah, in the last part of the surah, but this place, ghayru maskulati, means the one that doesn't have inhabitants. No people are living in it. Because when we live in a place, it is not necessary that we have to live in it 24 hours. The moment you go out, you are still living in the place and the house is still yours. And you are a sakin fihi, inshallah. May Allah grant us good teaching. Okay, bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. As-salatu was-salamu ala mawthi rahmatul alameen nabiyina wa habibina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim amma ba'd. He's asking about this ruling of isti'adhan. Is it still applicable in the case of friends in the university? I come to the room of my friend in the university. Do I need to take permission or I just go in, right?
Or you live with him also in the same.
Yeah, but you are out.
You go out, yes.
Now you're coming back, right? Then you say salam to him. Say salam and take permission if the room is open for both of you. You get it? But if let's say it's designed in a way everyone has his own territory, covered and fully closed. In this one, you just say salam when you're getting inside. Okay? But when you decide to get inside his own territory, then you take permission. But you can just say salam and get inside because everyone has his own place. He shouldn't come out inappropriately. Do you get the...
Following up with this question, for example, if you are living with a non-Muslim in accommodation, you are sharing with a non-Muslim. In that case, how do you do?
Can I come in? No salam. Yeah, this one permission, yes. Because the reason why we shouldn't get in without permission is not to see the aura of somebody. And seeing the aura is aura. That's from non-Muslim. Otherwise, you will say, okay, then don't look at the opposite gender unless if they are non-Muslim, And nobody says that. At the same. So aura is aura. So if you live with him, you take permission, but you cannot say salam to him. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, "La tabda'uhum bis salam." Do not start the salam. They start and they reply them with wa alaikum.
You mentioned about the ayah, which is talking about closed hearts, and a person with a closed heart will not be guided. So how can we help a person to open up his heart? Is there anything we can do to help him?
Keep repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only thing that can open that is intensive amount of repentance and tawbah. Keep making tawbah. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah opened the door and He invites you to come, no matter how much you go far, come back. Bismillah ta'ala, repentance will unlock that thing that is depriving you from seeing the truth. Bismillah ta'ala.
Houses which are uninhabited. So, for example, there is a house which is uninhabited, but it belongs to another person. That person doesn't live anymore. Maybe he lives at another location. So, in that case, can you go into that house without the permission, although it's someone else's property?
No, you can't. Since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you have a need inside. The house which belongs to others and you have a need, that means the house is open. Everyone goes in and out. If somebody has a house and he locked the house, and then he doesn't live in that house, but he lives in another house, you have no right to go. Going into that house is a crime. Legally and Islamically also. They know. Okay, the question is about, I have two houses. I live in one of them. The other one I don't stay, but it is my house. Can somebody go inside the other house without my permission? Okay, I said no. As long as the house is closed, a person closes his house, then I shouldn't go to that house without his permission. Okay. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says when you have a need inside, and usually your need arises when the door is open for everyone. Otherwise, how is it possible when somebody closes his house for me to have my need inside?
Another question regarding permission, taking permission in the world. So for the Dawah, say for example government or police, they are doing house raid. Under what conditions can they do a house raid, or is there any possible situation which they can do a house raid without taking the permission?
In Islam, he's asking about authority when they raid a house. Okay? In Islam, al-amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar, you only command people to do ma'ruf idha dhahara tarkuhu, when they don't do the ma'ruf. And you talk to them to stay away from munkar idha dhahara fi'luhu, when they do the munkar. If they're doing the ma'ruf, you don't need to tell them to do ma'ruf because they're already doing it. If they're not doing the munkar, why do you bring it up? Because they're not doing it. So the scholar said, you don't do tajassus. You don't spy on others to see whether they are doing munkar or not. But if the munkar appears, then the authority have a right to interfere in this regard. A police Police hears somebody screaming and they realize that this person really is in trouble. Can they get inside the house? Yes. They shouldn't wait. The house is burning. They don't need to take permission. They can just go inside. Anything that would be considered as munkar being, present or apparent to them, they do have a right to raid the house even without taking permission. Other than that, I think legally, unless if it is big cases, even legally, they do have to ask the permission first for them to step inside. So they don't go until they take the permission, unless if it is in a critical moment and situation, then they can just go out without taking, they can go in without taking the permission of the owner of the house. How about entering the houses of the parent, Come back, your mother, your father is there, do you need to take permission? They really get annoyed sometimes with they will tell you, this is us, just come, The same is applicable. That's why many from the Salaf Saleh will say that the most hated things to me is to see the awrah that belong to a mahram. That's really painful, and really painful. She herself, also your mother or your sister or your daughter or whoever, they will not be happy for them to be seen at that moment, Because you're going to live with them. At least if stranger, when he goes, they might not meet him again. But you, every time they will see you. And every time when they see you, they remember that you saw them in this situation. So the permission is also applicable to take it at any moment. But inshallah, in the future, also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to talk about who takes permission and who takes permission, who doesn't take permission, and who takes permission when. When do we take permission? There are some who are supposed to take permission anytime. These are the people who are mature. They reach the age of maturity, they have to take permission every time. Below then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specified three moments where they are supposed to take permission. And inshallah in the ayah after this, Allah will talk about certain people that you can stay in their presence not covering properly. Talking to their sisters, not the brothers. Talking to the sisters, because the sensitivity in hijab on the sisters is more on the brothers. What is your last question? Hey, can you help?
When a brother or sister is alone in their room, what is the clothing? Or how much of the aura should they cover, or what can be uncovered alone?
Does the question says or?
Sorry?
Or and which one?
I need for both brother and sister.
No, my question is brother and a sister alone in a room.
Separate.
Separated. Brother is.
Yeah.
So when you have a brother and a sister, when you have a brother alone in his room, just say a brother alone in his room and a sister alone in her room, what can they do? They should observe also the modesty. For the brothers, at least that part of the body should be covered from the knees to the navel. At least that one. And he stays in the way he wants after that. But do they commit sin when they are in their house and nobody's there? There is no sin on him. We just tell him it is inappropriate against the manners. You have angels and all this. That's why most of the scholars said even when the person is having a relationship with the spouse, they shouldn't take off everything unless if they put themselves under something to cover them. Most of the scholars go with that, although some scholars said, no, there is nothing specific that will say is wrong. Although it's against the manners, but if that is the only thing that can restrict the brother, to his house without doing things which are wrong, then they go for that. In both situations, there is no sin, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, on them. That's why the culture that says even if a person goes to the toilet, he has to remain with his clothes and take shower in them. I don't know where people get this, but There are some who says that you cannot go to the toilet and take off everything. And this is your house. But if a person is taking a shower in the river where everyone is there, for sure, he has to. That's why the way people are swimming, is it right or wrong? Wrong. Very wrong. When we go to swimming, even the clothes is designed to show the size of the aura of the male. That's wrong. So what do? You wear the tight one, and then on top of it you wear fadfal. Another one that is thick, and it covers from the knees to the navel. And then go ahead, swim. As a brother. So that will be okay. Other than that, if a person wears something that is so tight, he's showing the aura, that's haram. He will be sinning. He can only swim in that way in the presence of who? His wife. Or the wife swims in the presence of who? The husband. Because that part of the body is a very critical place. Anything can happen. Husband, no problem. Wife, no problem, because we want things to happen. Do you get the idea? That's why she puts jewelry and all of these decorations, because Islam wants things to happen so that she will cool him down, and he will cool her down. The community will be protected from the evil manners. Do you get it? So if they are sitting in their house, even if they are alone, okay, they should cover at least the critical aura. They shouldn't stay like that unless if they need it. They have injury in the place where they are supposed to be covered, and then you tell them they observe manners. Which manners? Manners is to open it so that they can heal quickly. So when they are in the house, they open the place and sit down. This is their house. I recall one of the Salaf Salih, I can't remember who was that, but somebody looked inside his house and he saw him sitting inappropriately. And he was saying, even Sheikh, also you guys also do that? He said, yes. Why did you do that? You look into the aura of people, that's why you see that, You should blame yourself first for looking into the house without permission. So I do not know what really happened. The door opens and then he did not close his eyes, he watched. That's why it's very dangerous, very dangerous. Allah. It can cost you your religion, it can cost you your life to look into the house without permission. Whenever you come to the place where the houses are open, lower your gaze, don't look inside. In some communities, you come to the place, you see the house is open, and you see the sister, mashallah, lying down at the first part of the door, What is that? So, and then you come and then you see, that image would remain. This is bad attitude and bad culture. They shouldn't do that. But since people do it, you cannot deprive them from doing it, so you control yourself. You cannot control them, but you control yourself, May Allah grant us good. It's all about you protecting your heart first. Okay? It's all about you protecting your heart first, because it helps the community to stay away from any evil that can come from your side. Is that clear? Are we done with the questions? Okay. This one? Up? How do you know the sound doesn't go? Okay. They complain as usual. Okay. الآية التي بعد لا ما انتهينا من كل المؤمنين يغضوا من أبصارهم. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I was talking about the hadith of Abu Hurairah. He says, وَالرِّجِلَانِ تَزْنِيَ. And you have also the legs, also they commit zina. But then the Prophet ﷺ said, وَالْفَارُجُ يُصَدِّقُ ذَلِكَ أَوْ يُكَذِّبُهُ. The one that confirms that is the farj, the private part. All of these participate in provoking the person, to engage in the real act. So these are the initial steps to zina. Abdullah ibn Abbas called them lamam. Lamam. These are sagha'ir al-dhunub, minor sins, But they lead to the bigger one. They lead to the bigger one. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ said at the end of the day, al-farju yusaddiqu dhalika aw yukadhibuhu. So a person should be very, very careful. That barrier that Allah SWT put must be maintained. That barrier that Allah SWT put must be maintained. If a person is willing to preserve, don't you ever deceive yourself. Wallahi, don't you ever deceive yourself and say that I'm strong. Nobody's like that. No, nobody's like that. If you claim to be like this, then I will say you have to check your health. Seriously, because naturally we are not like that. We're not like that. We're different. And each one of us get attracted to the other one. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you to keep the barrier. If you open it, anything can happen. So don't say that you are, he says, Malaki, and you are righteous, you are wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It says, لا تخلون بامرأة لديك بريبة لو كنت في النساك مثل بناني. Even if you are in the peak of righteousness, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't stay in a place where there is nobody except you and a woman that is not your wife, or your mahram that you cannot marry forever. Okay? Those ones, inshallah, if there is a need for you to be with them alone in a place, bi'iznillahi ta'ala, protection is always there. Although we are also living in contaminated environments, those ones also got attacked, who attacked themselves. قَالَ قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ غُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks you to lower and to close some part of your gaze, some part of your eyes. So the scholar said the reason why the min is mentioned is tab'idiyya, some part of it. So we can say this ba'd is not decided, so it could be most of it. And that's the truth. Close most of it. Looking is not permissible unless if there is a need for that. When there is a need, then it'll be okay. Need like who? Like the khatib. Somebody who is looking for marriage. It is always good and better for him not to marry before seeing that person who he wants to marry. Does he need to take her permission? He doesn't need to take permission. Okay? When does that happen? Can he look before he propose? Yes. He should see first. If he agrees, then he go straight forward to the proposal. So search first about, if I am to advise, I would say search about righteousness and good manners, and then go to the looking. You get it? Are you listening? Don't rush. Wallahi, don't rush, because sometimes you will rush. The poet says, don't go like that. Go rush and look. He says, you're going to see something. لا أنت قادر على كله ولا جزء. Yeah. Subhanallah. Sometimes you might see something that you cannot be patient, True of us. Shabab, true of us. True, He said true. He said true. You might see something that you cannot be patient at all. But subhanAllah, you have to go through ma'arik for you to get it. Ma'arik for you to get it. Okay, that's easy to go for the ma'arik. But sometimes, then you see that person and you lost your consciousness, But then you check about them, the attitude and the manners is zift. Zift. I mean, A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim. How do you convince yourself not to go for that? It's very difficult. This is when you tell the person, don't go. But every time he comes to you for fatwa, can we tell him, no, Islam says you have to look for righteousness and good manners. But, so many but. That's the reason why, if you take my advice, before you go to the looking first, check about the attitudes and the manners, who they are. Okay, somebody told you that is a sister in this environment called Karima, Fulana. Okay, Fulana. Call Fulana. There is a sister called Fulana. But anyway, Fulana. So you ask about her. Is she okay? Yes, they told you she was okay. Very good. The family are okay, the family are fine, and we have no issue with her, and we never heard anything about this. How about religion? Yeah, alhamdulillah, she prays. dress nicely according to the Sharia, and also she prays to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she fasts, and nobody actually has an issue with her. You're done with this. Then now we move to the next step. Try and see who she is. You know, if she is disqualified from the beginning, then you don't even go and look. You don't know. Then let somebody go and see who fits her and go and take, you know. But anyway, this is my advice. I know people rush, but you shouldn't go to that. Check first. If you heard about that one, check first. Unless if the thing just come. You know, you see them, and then you think you should go. So you revisit. In this case, try make jihad. Check about the attitudes and the manners, and whatever result you get, try follow that one. Don't follow what you have seen. You're going to lose it. I know you're not listening, but you will remember. What is the person say? فَتَتَذْكُرُونَ مَا أَقُولُ لَكُمْ. No, we don't reach that too. We do not reach that way, you know. SubhanAllah. Wallahi, you know, there was a case, you know, if you know it, you will understand what I'm telling you. I always tell myself, why people reach, this person stays with two people, one after the other. Each one of them reached the moment of curse to them. None of them is looking at the physical parents, because I believe if they are going to look for that, nobody will say, go. And nobody will talk in the wrong way. But it became useless, I'm telling you. It became useless. After the marriage, it became useless. So it's really, really something that you guys have to listen carefully, you know. Don't go for that. Manners should come first. You know, we always mention this because Rasulullah also focused on that. He said, take somebody who has religion. You will succeed, inshallah. But it takes somebody because of who they are, because of the way they look, because of the position they have. Sooner they're going to lose that. And wallahi, you might not see the, the presence of that thing which was the thing that motivated you to marry them. You might not see it after the marriage. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us good. So khatib, the person who is intending to marry, if you have intention to marry, you can look at the khatiba. And she also can look at you, if both of you have intention to marry. But you don't forget, Allah says, Wallahu ya'lam ma tubduna wa ma taktumun. Because these issues are between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise it will be playing games. Whenever you decided to enjoy, nawaitul marriage. No? Go and look, cancel. Tomorrow also you want to enjoy, nawaitul marriage, you know. And there we go. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is in the heart. Your intention has to be, yes, you are serious, that if you see that and you have intention to marry and you're looking for a potential suitor, you know, then you can look. Other than that, no. Do you get an idea? We have a lot of students, when you ask them, are you willing to marry? No, not now. What does that mean? They have to close their eyes and do what? Fast. Like that. You don't open your eyes and say that I have intention in the future to marry after you become a professor. No. You're not allowed to do that. When you have intention to marry, now you have intention to marry now, not in the future. Get it? You're looking for somebody who fits you. Then you can look. To get an idea. Issues like this could be permissible. The judge in the court, somebody who is selling or buying, you know, the scholar said they can see. Mufti, you know, somebody who is giving fatwa, they can see what necessitate to recognize the one who comes, so that if issue take place in the future, they know who is who. These are, narrow situations. Right? And the last one is the medical doctor, when there is no same gender to tackle the issue. That's why a sister should go to a sister and a brother should go to a brother. But if we don't have the same person, then one of them can go to the other one if there is no khalwa. Now, subhanAllah, sometimes it's so funny. we said that khalwa is wrong. Yes, that's true. But then when it comes to the medicine in the hospital, khalwa is what? Halal. That's a joke. Somebody has written a book, he talks about these things that are taking place between the medical doctors and recently we heard a case. A woman was discovered to be pregnant, and who's the culprit? The doctor that was taking care of her in the hospital. Auzubillah, you know. Then when you talk about this, people will think that you are exaggerating, too conservative, you know. This is a medical doctor has written a book, you know, and he talks about these issues that are taking place in the hospitals. Who knows? Allahu alam, you know. Who knows? Allahu alam. So that's why they said she has to go with one of the mahram. She cannot be alone with the medical doctor in that place. Okay, can he look? Yes, he looks at that which he needs. Only what he needs. Other than that, he's like anybody else. Because we always think that, no, these guys, they have permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to look in the way they want. No, it's not like that. You know, it's not like that. They have the permission to look at the place where they need to look at. Other than that, they can't. You have the midwife. They call her in Arabic. Huh? Oh, Abdurrahman, life with you is good. He says second wife, you know. Who is the midwife? The one who receives the child, right? Okay, no. Anyway, good experience. Yeah. No, let him say. يوفر للبقية مجال أكثر. Anyway, so this one is the one who receives the child. How can she receive the child? You tell her, كل المؤمنات يغضضن من أبصارهن. And then you would tell her to also close her eyes. How does she receive the child then? She put her hand like this, you know, and the child falls down in the wrong way, you know. Who to be blamed? We say, قال الله تعالى. No, nobody says that. She's going to look at the one that she's taking care of. And she's going to look at the place where the child is coming. That's the reason why the scholar said, كقابلة حل لها نظر إلى محل ولادة النساء في التولد. She is also supposed to restrict herself to the place where the child is coming. Other than that, no. You get it? So, الضرورة تقدر بقدرها. This place is not supposed to be validated except when there is ضرورة. And ضرورة تقدر بقدرها. Is that clear? So we have to be really, really sensitive concerning these matters. They sound simple, you know, but people take them lightly, but they are big matters, and problems are taking place in our society, and there is nobody to tackle them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already reminded us what to do. He says, كُلِّ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ. So when there is no need, a person should close his eyes. When there is a need, there is no problem for a person to restrict himself to that which he needs. For the khatib, how many times he can look? The khatib, the person who proposed to marry, how many times he can look? Okay, wait. What is it permissible for him to look? What can he see? No, there is no Zahir opinion here. Don't even mention that. That's only majority opinion. What is he permitted to look? The face and the hand and the feet. This is the majority's view. Because they say whatever you're looking for, these three can give you that. Looking for the beauty, where do you get it? The face. You're looking for the softness, you know, where do you get it? The hands. You're looking for the smoothness of the body, where do you get it? The feet. They say these things can give you a guideline, can guide you toward that which exists, which is covered. So according to the best opinion, Wallahu alam, according to the best opinion, you see what usually appears culturally. Okay, don't forget we're talking about when it appears to you. When a woman is at home, what does she open? Hair, neck, hands, you know. Usually they cover from the shoulder to the knees. These are the critical areas that a Muslim shouldn't go to that place. Okay. Even those ones, I don't know, how did they manage to talk about, to say that a person can see beyond that? You know, I don't think they do that, but, but these are the critical areas. Can a person ask to see the hair? No, he doesn't. He shouldn't. Okay. But when, let's say it appears to him, he can look at it. Okay? She shouldn't take it off for him to see. That's very wrong. But when it comes out, can he see, can he look at that place? Yes. Other than those things which are culturally open when she is alone with the maharim, if he sees that when it is open, then he will be sinning. Okay? He will be sinning, according to the best opinion of the scholars. And this should be the only opinion, because you cannot protect the community from having evil thoughts as long as you legalize that area. The person can see other than those areas and control himself. Other than that, it might, if he goes beyond that, it might lead to evil which cannot be controlled at all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to the truth. How long can he be looking? The first time they meet, somebody says until he makes his decision. Then he delayed his decision, you know. Every time he comes. How about it now? Still. Bukra inshallah, right? And this bukra will never end, you know. Anyway, that's the correct opinion. The scholars said, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, يَنظُرْ إِلَى مَا يَدْعُهُ إِلَى نِكَاحِهَا. But in all of these things, honesty is needed. You have to know that you're dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The moment you see what convinces you, then that's it. That's why one of our scholars said, يُدَقِّقُ النَّظَرُ. يُدَقِّقُ النَّظَرُ. You focus so much to see. You know. It's not like you just look and turn away. No, look so much. It's like somebody's going to tell you, can you just look at the other side? But you look and you focus in that looking for both. Where did he get that? Where did he get it? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told, what did he say? He forgot. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, did you see her? He said, no. He said, go back and see her, because there is something in the eyes of the sisters of Ansar. He said, mentioning that there is something inside the eyes, then it need what? Focus for you to see that. You go to the eyes and see that there is something inside the eyes, you know. These are all the correct things to be done, because you're going to be staying with somebody who is supposed to protect you from sharing your evil attitude with the community. You know, that's why focus is needed in that. You know. But as I said, a person should remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching. He knows what is in the heart. Seriousness has to be there. Okay? قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ غُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا يَصْنَعُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows whatever people are doing. You know. Whatever you do. Allah. So Allah says, وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ. Let them preserve and protect their awrah. Because awrah is not supposed to be granted to anyone except through what? Through marriage or milk al-yamin. A person has a slave, the female slave, he can approach her as a wife. Other than that, awrah is supposed to be protected. The issue of awrah is very sensitive. That's why إذا دار أمر العورة بين الحل والحرمة الحكم للتحريم. When you have the issue of the awrah is going between halal and haram, we go with what? Haram. I give you one example that the usuliyun used to give. Okay? اشتبهت أخته بأجنبية. You come to a place and your parent told you that your sister is in this country. Okay? Whatever country you reach, your parent informed you that there is a sister who came from us and she lives in this country. When you reach that country, they told you her name. Okay. No, they don't tell you her name. But anyway, I'm trying to get you lost. You know that your sister is here, but then when you reach that country, you want to marry. Unfortunately, only 2 sisters left. Just listen, Only 2 sisters left in that city. And your parent told you that your sister is there. And according to their knowledge, your sister did not marry yet, and they lost contact, with her. But she did not marry yet. So now, one of these ones is your sister, and you don't know who she is. What to do now? And you really want to marry. What to do now? You ask her. She doesn't know. In some, they have different name. I mean, just listen and believe. This is an example of usuliyin.
What about the meaning?
That one also might make mistake. But the scholars of usul says now يدور الأمر بين الحلال والحرام. You go with what? حرمتا جميعا. No tahari. In most instances in these cases, you have najasa, you have halal, tahir. You are confused. You don't know which one is correct, which one is not. You do what? You do tahari. You observe carefully one of them. Either one you expect more to be tahir, you go with it. But in the case of awrat, no. When you have this doubt, you have to stay away from both of them. Go to another country or keep fasting. These are just examples. In our time, I don't think this can ever take place, but if you study usul, they have this ijtibahul halal bil haram. You slaughter a chicken. And those people who take care of chickens, you have other chicken also who died, sometimes almost every day. You slaughter a chicken, and your child comes, he monitored the way you slaughter it. Oh, sounds interesting. He found the one you put in the garbage, the one that is dead. He slaughtered that one also, al-sunnah, in the way you do. And he came and put it. He mixed them, And then he told you, Dad, well, I help you, I saw the way you do it, then I don't want you to tire yourself, so I slaughtered the other one also for you. Where do you get it? The one that you put in the garbage. I think you forgot to slaughter it. And he mixed them. So now when you come, you couldn't differentiate between the two. Which one is it? So what happened? Harrama laka al-jami', So you have to stay away from both of them. Because when it comes to the awrat and also the food, Sharia is a bit sensitive, more than other matters. So the scholar said, al-farj cannot be permissible in any situation except with marriage or milk al-yamin. Now, hifzul al-farj, is it faqat hifzuhu min al-zina, protecting the farj? A person shouldn't commit zina, shouldn't do anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want. No zina, no masturbation, no all of these stupidities that people are doing to protect the farj. Is it only this? Or you also have to protect it from the eyes of others? The second one also. Okay? The companion told the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ya Rasulullah, awratuna ma na'ti wa ma nadhar. He said, our awra. Please tell us, which one are we supposed to let other people see? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ihfadh awrataka illa min zawjatik. He said, protect and preserve your aura. Do not let anyone see your aura except your wife. That's it. Other than your wife, nobody is allowed to see it. Your mother is not allowed to see your aura. After a person becomes matured, the father, the mother, and brothers and the sisters, none of them is allowed to see that person. They are just like anybody else. Some people might tell, but this is No, it doesn't go like that. Even if she is This is even if he is Awra is awra. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to truth. So he says, وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ ذَلِكَ أَزْكَى لَهُمْ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala أَمَرَ بِقَضِّ الْبَصَرِ وَحِفْظِ الْفَرْجِ. So he started with the basar, because basar is the one that goes first. Nobody wakes up and finds himself in the middle of zina. Nobody, except in few cases, But usually it happens when a person is awake. And there has to be a lot of messengers before the zina happens first. That's why they said first is what? Looking, thinking, planning, sending messages, conversation, meeting, and then the actual thing will take place. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blocked the means to the first one. If you stop it, then a person will protect himself from the subsequent evil conclusion that might take place in his life. Okay, after the adhan we can continue, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, I have a couple of questions here. The first one is about you are in the presence of somebody who is the opposite gender giving you a lecture. Is it a discount for looking? You can just look. No, the barrier is still there. Lowering the gaze is necessary, even in that one. And that's all. Question.
Why is the khatib not sinning if he purposely looks at the woman's hair, since it's her aura and they are not married? And if he decides not to marry, then what?
No, if you go to that, she's asking about what he can look at the hair. If you talk from that dimension that the hair is aura, the face also is like that, the hand also is like that. But just Sharia give you permission to go and look at it because there is a big any objective which is greater than not looking. And the harm that will take place in the marriage in which the husband doesn't know who he is marrying or the wife doesn't know, is so big. It might end off in divorce. So Sharia legalized it for you. So when the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ma yad'uhu ila nikahha," let him see that which can attract him to marry that woman. That's why a scholar said, whatsoever is exposed culturally to the maharim, when she is with the mahram, then it will be okay, inshallah. And we said this should be restricted to other than the shoulder to the knees. That means hand and the hair and the neck, So and when they come out accidentally and the husband sees, that's okay. Inshallah. Not the husband, the person sees, that's okay. He's not committing sin at all. Because the Prophet ﷺ asked him to do that for the sake of marriage if he sees it. Okay.
This one is a tongue twister. When someone tells me that they love me for the sake of Allah, this question comes to my mind that if it wasn't for Allah, will I not be loved? When I tell a person that I love them for the sake of Allah, wouldn't that mean that they are not capable of being loved just because of Allah that I am loving them?
Okay, no, that's wrong understanding. Somebody says to you, "I love you for the sake of Allah." So sometimes a person might think that, if not because of Allah, he doesn't like me, This is deficiency in understanding. There's a peak of love when you love somebody for the sake of Allah, because it's the one that remains. And it's the one also that helps you to receive good from that person. If you just have the normal love to the person, what does that mean? You overlook their mistakes. They need you to remind them, but you don't. That's why this love for the sake of Allah should exist between the husband and the wife. When he does something, she fixes him. Because they don't love them just because of the way they look, but they love them for the sake of Allah. And this carries what? A price to be paid. Okay? You have to be sincere in your love, and you have to make sure that when they make a mistake, you fix them. This is the true love, So you shouldn't understand that somebody is not loving you, or he only loves you because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but in reality he doesn't like you. It is not like that. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam praised somebody who loves somebody not for anything except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So saying that I love you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it doesn't mean you are hated, but just because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that person is giving you some respite. It doesn't mean that at all. That's the peak of love if that person is sincere. Okay? That's the peak of love if that person is sincere. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us good.
I think this one is regarding the proposal. If a man comes to see a woman, can they be left alone to talk?
No, they shouldn't. They cannot be left alone to sit down in a room to do what? Which talk? To act. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. They shouldn't.
can they chat on the phone just in order to get to know each other?
They shouldn't. Chatting with the phone brings a lot. Go and ask those people who get trapped by these things, and at the end of the day, things happen to them. They shouldn't. And as I always say, that it is a joke for a person to understand his spouse before the marriage. He will never understand it.
Chatting with the
Okay, after the salah, inshallah. Barakallah.